This video is going to be about using layers to enhance the drum groove, specifically in the genre of worship music. So what I have created here is just a little demo with a drum beat and then various layers layered on top of that beat, and we can kind of walk through layer by layer and see exactly what's going on and talk about how you can use different pieces to enhance the groove. So to start out, let's just listen to the beat by itself, which I programmed here with just the Bluebird kit and Logic, but we can use these principles with Live Kit as well. You can layer stuff on top. It's just what I have put together here. So here is the drum beat. So nothing very complicated, and I intentionally left it very simple so we can layer various pieces on top of it to add that complexity and interest, even starting as kind of the foundation of our beat being relatively simple and straightforward. So step one is what I decided to do was, since the tone of the kick and snare weren't really fat and punchy enough for my liking, and I'm treating this as in the idea that maybe you're given tracks when you're producing or a drum kit that's mixed, you can only do so much with mixing, and so we can do these other layer pieces to enhance a beat if you've taken the mixing piece as far as you can. So that's kind of what I want to use as our starting point. So we can have here, what we have here is a fat kick and a massive snare. These are from the Garden of Eden pack, but you can use whatever kicks and snares that you like to layer on top of your beat. And so adding these samples on top will give us a fatter, more punchy sound right off the bat, just to enhance the groove with a better tone, basically, with the kick and snare. So this is what this sounds like. So definitely a lot more punchy in the low end in the kick, and the snare just definitely has a lot more snap and more punch, and is a little more roomy as well. So that was kind of the first decision I made was, okay, let's just add a kick and a snare to enhance the sounds of the drum itself. The next decision was to add like a tambourine sound, and you'll hear this referred to as like a Bethel Tambourine. You hear that in a lot of Bethel songs, alternating the tambourine on kind of every other snare hit. And so it's a very like ambient, reverbed out tambourine sound that enhances the snare drum that's already there. So this is what the tambourine layered on top of the snare sounds like. So you can see it adds a little more interest to the snare beats themselves, or the snare hits, rather than hearing the same snare sound every single hit. By having these alternating layers, it really adds a little more interest to it. And then we can carry that principle even further and kind of layer something else on the first and third snare hit. This is just a Cavern Rim Hit. It's actually, let me play it for you so you can hear what it sounds like. It's like a stick sound with a bunch of reverb on it. This kind of accenting of the snare you can do with any kind of percussive sound, and then add a reverb to it to really extend that tail and make it so you can hear it once the snare is done kind of ringing out. And so on this example here, we have kind of the cavern hits hitting on the first and third, and then we have the tambourine on the second and fourth. So that's what this sounds like. All right, next we have a shaker, and we can use the shaker to enhance the groove and feel as well. So this is just an eighth note shaker layered over top of the beat. So let's listen to that. That's going to enhance the hi-hat a bit. You can use this principle with like tambourines shaking as well, shakers, any kind of percussive instrument that you can kind of loop over top as well. It can help enhance the groove. You can also use effects to create fills. So that's what I did here with the stick fill. Let's listen to that here. It's just kind of 3 rim shot sample, and I'll just play it from halfway through so you can hear this fill. So with that, I turn the reverb off. So that's just the straight samples of the sticks, and I'll solo it so you can hear that. Very simple, just a three stick hits. Let's add the reverb back in, and then let's go ahead and I'm going to loop this so you can hear the fill back into the front end of the beat. So in cases where maybe there wasn't a fill and you want something in there, And so you can use these various samples to create fills if the drums didn't play one. So you can use these layers to enhance the original drum groove that way. Then the last one I have here is just another kind of verby clap hit. Let's play that soloed so you can hear what that sounds like. And this guy here is just, I'll take the reverb off. It's just a simple like clap sample. So you can take any kind of clap, just throw a big reverb on it, and then that gives you this sound. And so this is another kind of different piece of layering on the snare hits. So this is, if we play that all kind of together in context, let's hear it all together. So with all that layered on top, you can kind of see, if we kind of think back to where we started, this was our starting beat. And then here's where we ended up with all of our various layers on top. So that's basically it. I just wanted to kind of show you that you can use all these kind of production techniques of effects and samples and layers to really add a bunch of interest to a relatively simple part. And so you can take these ideas and just really run with them creatively. Like you can do all kinds of stuff. So maybe you want to like reverse. You could think about that kind of stuff. So like you can take a clap. Let's go ahead and like reverse it. And if you want to add like a little more like emphasis leading into a snare hit, then we can kind of shorten that. It's just me kind of making up stuff here, but you can add that and then put that in front of this clap. And then we can just kind of add a little volume swell, and so you can get something, just play around with being creative with all this kind of stuff. So you get that sucking sound leading into the clap hits to really add even more of like a lead-in emphasis too. So really take this, be creative. Just wanted to give you the ideas and the starting point that even if you have something basic, you can add interest, complexity, and just really enhance the groove itself by layering a bunch of things on top of it to keep that really interesting. All right, thanks everybody.